With the NBA playoffs well underway, I was wondering what are some NBA or ABA current or former All-Stars that have never made the playoffs. Let's take a look. Number 1. Tom Van Arsdale was born in February 1943 in Indianapolis, Indiana. He and his twin brother Dick Van Arsdale started playing basketball at 5 years old on a basketball court that their grandfather built on dirt with a wooden backboard and a wooden post. They played together in the Indiana State Championship game. They held a 7-point lead with 1 minute and 7 seconds left on the clock, but they lost in overtime. He was also co-Mr. Basketball in 1961 with his twin brother. He also had a great collegiate career. In high school and university, he averaged around 17 points a game. Tom was drafted by the Detroit Pistons in the second round of the 1965 draft. He made the NBA All-Rookie team in 1966 with his twin brother. Tom played 12 seasons in the NBA for the Pistons, Cincinnati Royals, Kansas City Omaha Kings, where they actually split the games played at home between Omaha and Kansas City, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Phoenix Suns, where he played with Dick, the first time in NBA history where identical twins played on the same team, second time being Marcus and Markieff Morris, once again on the Phoenix Suns. Tom Van Arsdale made the All-Star team 3 times from 1970 to 1972, and in that period he averaged 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists. For his career, he averaged 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. He played a total of 929 games without making the playoffs once, 247 games more than Otto Moore, who has the second most games played without making the playoffs, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. He was one of the best free throw shooters for his time, averaging around 85% in his best free throw shooting year and around 76% for his career. He is also, non-surprisingly, the highest scoring player in NBA history without a playoff appearance with 14,232 points. Number 2. Bob Rule was born in June in 1944 in Riverside, California. He played basketball at Riverside Poly High School and Riverside Community College. In 1964, he was named MVP of the Junior College State Championships, leading the Tigers to a 35-0 record. Following 2 great seasons at Colorado State, he was selected in the second round of the NBA draft by the expansion team Seattle Supersonics. In his rookie season, he averaged 18 points and 9.5 rebounds, giving him an all-rookie selection. He went and averaged 24 points and 10.5 rebounds in the next 2 seasons, as well as participating in the 1970 All-Star Game. Bob Rule began the 70-71 season, averaging 30 points and 11.5 rebounds, and it looked like he was ready to go from a star to a superstar. But unfortunately, he went down with a season-ending torn Achilles tendon in his 4th game. After his injury, Bob Rule was never able to return to his pre-injury form. From the 1971-1972 season, Bob Rule played on the Seattle Supersonics, Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And I use played very loosely here because he was rarely on the court. In this period, he averaged 9.5 points and 5 rebounds per game and was forced to retire after the 74-75 season. Number 3. Geoff Petrie was born in Darby, Pennsylvania on April 17, 1948. Because of a phenomenal college career, Petrie was selected with the first pick in Portland Trail Blazers history, the 8th pick in the 1970 draft. Petrie in his rookie season averaged 25 points, 5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds, winning the NBA's Rookie of the Year award and making the All-Star team. He also had a season-high 46 points as a rookie, which is still a Portland Trail Blazers record. After the rookie season, while shooting jump shooters in the offseason, he felt something odd in his knee. Quote, "There was this catch hand and unstableness in my knee. It wasn't any acute event. Because of this problem, that summer he had his first of several knee injuries. After that, he had to reinvent his game, becoming more of a jump shooter and less of a cutter. He had his second All-Star season in 73-74 despite his knee problems, averaging 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Petrie said that in his 6th year, he really started struggling. But struggling by his terms meant average 19 points, 4.5 assists, and 2 rebounds on 46% field goal shoot. After his 6th season, his contract expired and the Trailblazers wanted him to have another knee surgery. Petrie said that he didn't want to have another surgery without a new contract, so the Blazers traded him to Atlanta. He never played in Atlanta and he underwent 3 more knee surgeries and watched as the Blazers not only made the playoffs but won the title. Petrie had 2 51-point games versus the same opponent, the Houston Rockets. started by the same man, Mike Newlin, who said, quote, "It was an insult to me to have a guy score on me. There was nothing about me that took defense lightly. Every point he scored against me was blood. He had to bleed to get the points. I muscled him and never left him, but he scored anyway." That's what's remarkable about both of those games. He made it look easy. Because of the injuries, he was never able to come back to basketball as a player, but he worked as a commentator for Blazer radio broadcasts, was hired as senior vice president for operations. There, he left Portland in 1994, was hired by Sacramento as president of basketball operations. As an executive, he won the NBA Executive of the Year award 2 times with the Kings. He held that position until 2013 when he was replaced. Number 4. George Thompson was born on November 29, 1947 in New York. He was a great collegiate player and the all-time leading scorer for the Marquette Warriors. He finished with 1,773 points despite playing only 3 seasons there. His record lasted for 40 years until the 2008-2009 season when Jarrell McNeil surpassed him with 1,985 points. He was one of the most unappreciated talents in the ABA because he played on the league's worst team, Pittsburgh and Memphis. Despite being only 6'2", he was primarily an inside force and was best known for driving the lane and drawing fouls, which is why he holds the ABA record for most free throws attempted in a single game with 29. In Pittsburgh, he was teamed up with John Brisker, another player that's on this list, and a deadly 1-2 punch. When the Condors franchise folded and Thompson was picked by the Memphis Stamps in the dispersal draft of ex-Condor players, he ended his career with the Milwaukee Bucks, where he averaged 11 points, 3 assists and 2.5 rebounds. He was a 3-time All-Star in the ABA from 1971 to 1974, and in that period he averaged 22.5 points, 4.5 assists and 4 rebounds on 47% field goal shooting. Number 5. Honestly, there's not a lot of things I can say about Demarcus Cousins that you don't already know, because he's still an all-star in this league. First, he had terrible luck with the Kings from front office, who failed to put good players around him for 7 seasons. Then after he got traded to a very good team, a playoff contender, he gets injured, which is really sad. In the 4-year stretch that he's an all-star, he's averaging 26 points, 4 assists and 12 rebounds. I don't want to spend a lot of time on him because there's a 99% chance that he makes the playoffs in the future, especially if he and Anthony Davis stay together, because if he was playing with them right now, I would say they are frontrunners for the NBA title. Number 6. John Brisker as a player was compared to LeBron James. In his first 3 and only years in the ABA, he played on the Pittsburgh Pipers, later Condors, and he averaged 26 points, 8 rebounds and 3 assists, was a two-time All-Star in the ABA. After that, he signed a 6-year, $1 million contract with the Seattle Supersonics, which would be $6 million today. But when he got there, he was butting heads with the coach of the Supersonics at that time, Bill Russell. Because of that, he was benched often and even sent to the Eastern League, which was a public demotion. But after the demotion, he scored 51 points in his first game and he scored 58 points the game after that. His Eastern League coach said he played like it was the last game of his life, but Russell wasn't impressed. Brisker played only 21 minutes per game for the Sonics and he was still pretty effective. He averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. He was fighting so much and getting ejected so much, he got the nickname the heavyweight champion of the ABA. His former Condors teammate, Charlie Williams, said, quote, "He was an excellent player, but say something wrong to the guy and you had this feeling that he would reach into his bag, take out a gun and shoot you." Once he elbowed a player named Art Becker, who was a forward for the Denver Rockets. Only a few minutes into the game, Brisker elbowed him so hard he got ejected immediately, but he wasn't done. He kept coming at him until the police managed to restrain him. He fought referees. Once when he was on the Seattle Supersonics, he got into a fight with a 6'8" forward, Joey Wright, broke his jaw and knocked out 4 teeth. His teammates and even his friends feared him, everyone except Bill Russell, who believed in hard discipline, and Brisker had no intention of being disciplined. Because of that, Russell, who was a head coach and GM at the time, bought out his contract and Brisker never played another game for the Seattle Supersonics or any team for that matter because he was blackballed by every team because of his reputation. Brisker then went to Africa for business opportunities and in 1978 he went missing. When he visited Uganda, his teammate Haywood said he thinks that Brisker showed him a photo of him with Ugandan dictator Idi Amin. What happened to him? after he went to Uganda, or did he even go to Uganda? Nobody knows. There are a few theories like he was a mercenary for Idi Amin and that he got executed by a firing squad after he lost his power, that he went there to escape the IRS. The truth is, nobody knows and nobody will know. He was officially declared dead in May of 1985 for the purpose of settling his estate. If he is alive right now, he will be 71 years old. Thank you all very much for watching. Please consider liking the video if you enjoyed, and also consider subscribing for more videos like this.